Sarah with Main Street Florist, and today I'm going to talk to you about hydrangea. I have got these beautiful, huge berry bloom hydrangea that we're going to be working with, along with some traditional white and a little bit of shamrock hydrangea. So if you're one of our frequent flower subscribers and you've gotten your bouquet this month, if you had the 10 stem, you've got some berry and white. If you have a 15 to 20 stem, you are getting a little bit of the green shamrock hydrangea too. I'll show you those. So those have a little bit of variegation with the green and white. So hydrangea are a pretty easy flower to design with, especially if you're new to arranging. But the biggest thing with them is care. Their care and handling is very important, and how they're processed before they even get to you as the customer can be pretty important in the longevity of their blooms. So that's what we're going to talk about most. And I'm going to switch to a quick clip of how we care and handle the flowers as they come in here at Main Street Florist.
Our hydrangea arrive in cases like these with 30 to 40 stems in a box. Each stem is individually wrapped and has a baggie at the bottom with water to keep them hydrated. We remove the packaging carefully, and then we remove the foliage that are the lower, larger leaves. Next up, our hydrangea heads get to go for a swim. So we dunk them in buckets and soak them for at least 10 minutes, sometimes longer. Hydrangea will also absorb water into their petals. Next up, we trim the bottoms and use a solution called Quick Dip that helps hydrate them faster from the stems.
Now that you've seen a little bit of how we process the flowers as they come in, we'll talk about arranging them. So the biggest thing with hydrangea is hydra, meaning water, and hydrangea. They are thirsty flowers. We recommend that you arrange in a clear vessel so that you can see your water line. If you decide to arrange in something that's not clear, make sure you're checking that water level daily, because just a little bit of dehydration can cause these flowers to wilt completely. The good news is if they start to wilt, you can usually give them a nice clean cut again and place them in water, or soak their heads again, how we do when we process when they first come in, and they'll bounce back. One myth that still is floating around is that when to process hydrangea that you should beat and crush the stems because they're a woody stem, and it's just not true. You actually can cause more damage than good. The most important thing is that you get a nice clean cut. So whether you're using a knife where you can get a good angle, the more of those cells that are open, the more it can drink, or using clippers, same thing. You just want a nice fresh cut so that they can get a good drink. Now, I have kind of got this large fish bowl, and because I have this large bowl, I can actually go a little shorter with my stems, but I want to make sure they're hitting the bottom of the vase so that I know they're always getting a good drink. And like I said, hydrangea is pretty easy to arrange with. Actually, before I get started putting all my flowers in, I do have these Metalino sticks. Since I've got this large vessel, I'm going to use that as a space to kind of design inside the vessel too. We could do this with curly willow branches. Sometimes we have lily grass. We'll do that as well. But whether you're using a large vessel like this, maybe you've got a larger vase, even what I'm holding, the arrangement, it's the hydrangea in now, this large vase is good. You might want to break these up into smaller arrangements. If you've got maybe a large water pitcher at home, it could make a great vessel for these hydrangeas. So I'm going to start with these Metalino sticks. They are just kind of a fiber stick that are very flexible. I'm going to place those down in my bowl just to add a little bit more texture and interest. And as these get wet, they even become soft that you can sort of manipulate them even more. All right, now we'll go back in with our stems. When we process the hydrangea as they come in, often we will remove these lower leaves. You definitely don't want any of your leaves being in your water, but by removing these leaves too, all the water it's taking in are going straight to those petals. And you might have noticed in the video that we were dunking the heads of the hydrangea. We noticed when we started doing this to our hydrangea in the shop that they lasted about a week and a half to sometimes 2 weeks longer than they normally would, because hydrangea will still absorb water through their petals. Just like they would if you've got a hydrangea bush in your yard when it rains, they will absorb through their petals and just help keep them kind of plump and full and beautiful. How awesome are these? Look how big they are. So when you're arranging all with one flower like this, we've got all just hydrangea, you might want to think about varying your colors and the depths that you place your flowers. So I've kind of got a low base here. So this is just 3 of them. How crazy that they're this huge. So as I get higher, I want to make sure that I'm cutting those stems a little longer. And you can certainly leave a little bit of the foliage if you like that look. We just usually remove kind of the larger leaves. And this is too, you can make the decision. Do you want to group all of your colors in, one spot? Maybe I want to keep all of my white, or I want to do 2 groupings of white. I think I might do that. You can group your colors, or sometimes we call it a polka dot arrangement. If you did all of your berry colors and then you kind of polka dotted your white in. I think sometimes it gives it a little bit more of a high-end look by grouping, by color blocking. And honestly, the berry color is my favorite, that I don't want to hide it. I really want it to shine. How awesome is that? You're also receiving some Israeli ruscus, and you really don't need foliage with an arrangement like this, but we still want to give you guys some options of how you want to play with your arrangements. I'm going to remove those lower laterals, and I'm going to just tuck groupings in kind of opposite of where I have my white hydrangea, just to add kind of another texture in there. So you can kind of see I'm going to group 3 of them together. You guys, this is just the 10 stem bunch. If you have a 15 or 20 stem subscription this month, you might have to share these beauties with your neighbors or your friends, or just do multiple arrangements around your house. All right, so you can see I just kind of did a couple of groupings there just to add a little bit more texture. I might adjust these so they don't look like antlers coming off. Kind of tuck them in a little lower. Maybe bring one of these up a little higher so that they don't look perfectly symmetrical. And there you have it. How simple, but very beautiful. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to message us or comment. But thank you for joining us, and we're happy to share this hydrangea with you this week.